We are now in aspect 5 of Tavani's chapter 6 lecture on cybersecurity. And here we're going to examine the utilitarian view of security breaching. Specifically, we're going to look at 4 different utilitarian arguments with a subsequent reflection on each in a utilitarian mode. According to the utilitarian way of thinking about morality, if security breaches maximize happiness and reduce suffering overall, then security breaching, or at least certain types of it, are morally justifiable. Ethical hacking would have 4 utilitarian arguments for it. 1. Ethical hacking maximizes everyone's happiness by deepening our knowledge of how the cybersphere works. We understand how things work by taking them apart. The more we attempt to use cyber technology in an authorized way, the greater is our understanding of its potential in general and of ways in which it can improve our lives. Here we're thinking of hackers breaking into various networks, and thus our knowledge is that much deeper about the strengths and weaknesses of such networks and how they work in general. 2, ethical hacking maximizes everyone's happiness by exposing security glitches so that they can be patched up before someone with real malice in their intent takes advantage of those security glitches. Right? So these same hackers would also be able to communicate what they learn about weaknesses and securities of various networks to network administrators for a fee, I imagine. And the network administrators would then go on and fix those glitches. 3, ethical hacking maximizes everyone's happiness by disrupting immoral activities of immoral organizations and individuals, such as the Anonymous's hacking into ISIS. 4, ethical hacking maximizes everyone's happiness by making public ideas that enhance everyone's happiness that would otherwise be less accessible due to a fee that its owners would charge for it, as in the case of pirating software, music, etc. Essentially by violating copyright clauses and making what is copyrighted and for which fees are charged available to everyone. All right. A utilitarian would further inquire whether the same or similar benefits cannot be achieved with lower costs, right? That's the ultimate utilitarian question. With regard to the first argument, a utilitarian might reply that various officially authorized researchers are already doing the research that an ethical hacker, the individual ethical hacker, is doing, and that the ethical hacker is just imposing more costs. Tightening up security, opening a door would need to be done in response to possible hacking. It opens a door to malicious hacking. Anyway, so the argument would be that the ethical hacker may be imposing more costs than the benefits they bring about. Better to have officially hired by organizations, so to speak, hackers. A utilitarian's response to the second argument is in continuity with the first. It reminds us that companies can hire hackers, so there is no real benefit, but only costs from unauthorized individual hackers. A utilitarian's response to the third argument would be that this kind of ethical hacking to stop malicious organizations and individuals is better done by governments through the notion of information warfare. A vigilante ethical hacker cannot take account of the full extent of retaliation from the injured agents of terror, while a government would be much more adequate at doing this. A vigilante ethical hacker also does not have the added objectivity of the due process by which agents of terror are identified at the state level by legislators and representatives in a democratic process. So, a vigilante ethical hacker would be subject to a much greater degree of bias than a state government would be in judging whether a particular activity is immoral and must be resisted. Utilitarians' response to the fourth argument would be that if we do away with property protections, then the incentive for innovations is taken away. And this would lead to less happiness in the population than if property rights are enforced and pirating is prosecuted, so that more innovation would be motivated.